Hi Sheridan, welcome to the Philippines and mabuhay. This is Jay from Pageant. So I have a question for you. First question is, aside from winning the Miss Earth crown, what would you like to achieve in your what would you like to achieve in your life?
Thank you very much for your question. So after winning Miss Earth 2022, I will. So that itself will be a very memorable experience, and hopefully whoever does win that gets to enjoy that year of going around with the organisation and volunteering. And so after that, I would like to finish my degree, graduate. Start, going into hopefully local politics, but firstly starting with my community and, continuing to volunteer there and, get more involved after I study. I'll have more time, so get more involved with the wildlife rescue organisation, which I'm with at the moment, called Wires. And so really, they're always looking for more people, especially if climate change keeps getting worse. We'll have more fires, which is something that seriously wipes out a lot of our fauna. And then after that, again, Prime Minister, and I just don't know if you can top that. Thank you.
All right, another follow-up question. If you were going to create a slogan of Miss Earth relating to this year's theme, what would it be and why?
If I was to make a what, sorry?
Slogan.
A slogan. Ooh, this year's theme. Fauna this year, so I'd probably say, I like acronyms and I like alliteration, so I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Maybe Fight for Fauna. Fight for Fauna 2022.
Wow. A slogan in a few seconds, guys.
My political campaign would be great, right?
Go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, Sheridan. I am Tita Lavinia of Titas of Pageantry. And you have a lot of fans on our page. You have a lot of fans. So they've been, of course, saying that you look like Taylor Swift. I've been taking your videos on this angle so people really understand you look like Taylor Swift. But my question for you is this. Recently, there have been a number of environmental activists who have gone on rounds at galleries and museums throwing away like soups or like tomato sauce on very expensive paintings. How do you feel about this? Because there are groups who say that things have to be done, but to the extreme, while others are saying these are mere vandals. Where are we when it comes to bringing our message out there for the environment?
Thank you very much. That's a very topical question. I remember watching that being like, what is going on? But my opinions of it is, we've got to be careful with big things like that, stints like that, because sometimes, it's not actually the environmental activists that it's coming from, it's somebody else that might be trying to make them look bad. But also, just like with any group that's trying to do better with the world, such as feminism, there's always going to be those on the very extreme side and then those that aren't moving at all. And what we have to try and focus on is just the overall message and what it is that we're trying to convey. So with environmental activism, I don't agree that the soup throwing incident was a great way to convey that, because all that does is make people angry. What we need to do is just show them already the destruction that's happening in the environment. Let them get angry at that, because that is what they should be focusing on. Throwing things at a painting of flowers or a painting isn't getting the message across. We just need to show videos. We need to show the destruction that is happening, because that should get people mad enough and that should light a fire under our bellies.
If I may, I have another question. So you're coming here, you're one of the earliest girls to arrive. You mentioned that you arrived around the 28th or the 29th?
29.
So I'm not so sure if you have checked the news, checked social media, but the Philippines is actually under immense amount of stress right after the strong typhoon that hit us. It's all over the news. A lot of areas in the Philippines are still underwater. How do you feel about this? I mean, you're competing at Miss Earth. This is the perfect platform to talk about the environment. And you are in the Philippines. You're seeing firsthand how it affects us. How do you feel about this?
It's, it's nearly ironic that it's happening, and I'm very, very saddened that it is, and I'm sending out all my love and support, and I'm hoping that those people that have been affected are getting the support that they need. But it really is a great example, really, of just how bad and how negative climate change impacts can have on people. Things like this will still keep happening. I know in Belize also, just maybe yesterday or this morning, there was another hurricane there which totally wiped out a lot of villages. And so these things will continue to happen unless we all rally together and work together as a team and, enact action, because unfortunately it will only get worse unless we do something now.
Thank you. Good luck.
Mabuhay, Sheridan Mortlock, and welcome to my beautiful country, the Philippines. I'm Armin Adina from the financial capital of the country, Makati City. Hi, Sheridan. Australia has had quite a run in Miss Earth from 2015 to 2017 with 2 Miss Earth Air title holders and 1 top 16 finisher. But after that, Australian representative did not enter the first cut. Will you break that?
Well, they say third time's the charm, right? So, third time the charm for Miss Earth Australia, third time the charm for Miss Earth International.
Okay, were you able to speak with the former title holders?
Yes, so I've been able to speak mostly because they're also based in Sydney, where I am, to Monique Shipp and Susanna Downs and Brittany Dixon, and they've been very helpful and supportive, and they're always there if I need to ask, wait, so how much sleep do we get again each day? 4 hours? Oh my gosh, but they've been very helpful, and they've been able to give me their wisdom and tips.
Okay, the best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Next is Esso John.
John, Pageant fanatics. Hi, Sheridan. I just want to ask, you're surrounded with Filipinos. Will you be dressed by Filipino designer?
I will be dressed by a Filipino designer, but I won't let you know anything else. Yeah. But thank you. There's so much talent here, so gotta tap into it.
Thank you.
Yun lang. Sino pang next? RB to Machete. Wala akong choice.
Hi, mate. Good afternoon.
Parang ng mate?
G'day, mate.
Good day, mate. So, my question is, who is your favorite Miss Earth and why?
I really enjoyed watching Lindsay Coffey as she, did it, because I feel like she is what I want to be, really. She's very, very beautiful, but she's very, very articulate and intelligent. And she, to me, was a big standout, because I remember watching it on Zoom with everybody else, and I'm like, damn, this girl is strong. So hopefully, I will be just as strong and maybe bring home the crown for Australia as well.
Last question. If given a chance to live in Australia, which do you prefer? Brisbane, Sydney, or Tasmania?
I do quite love my city of Sydney at the moment. I've been working there now for a bit over 3 years doing modelling and retail, and I'm really getting to know the city, and there's nothing quite like being able to walk around without a map and just know, oh, there's my local coffee shop, and oh yeah, I know this street and feel like a local. It really feels like you're connected. Thank you.
Sheridan, I just want to ask, you've seen your co-candidates via Zoom. Who are you excited to meet? Which candidate?
Well, I'm excited to meet everybody because, you never really know somebody until you meet them in person, I reckon. But I'm very excited to meet Miss Korea and Miss Japan and Miss Cuba and, of course, Miss Philippines.
Next question?
Hi, Sheridan. My question for you is, my name is Ferdinand from Eventology. My question for you is, what has been the significant project that you have done since winning Miss Earth Australia that is for the environment?
Thank you very much. Well, unfortunately, I only had about a month and a half, but in that time, I was lucky enough to organise a meet with Wires, who again is the Rescue Wildlife Volunteer Organisation in New South Wales. And what I got to do is I got to go to one of their koala rehabilitation sectors in Western Sydney, and we got to meet a koala there called Molly, who was very, very sick with chlamydia when they found her, and chlamydia is a really big disease in the koala population. And so what I've done is I've filmed a video with Morgan, who was the Wires volunteer, and Molly, and hopefully Miss Earth will be releasing that very soon, as it's one of my eco posts, but I've also got an extended cut. So after you watch the 45-second video, please watch my video on my Instagram page, as I'll have a call to action there, because even though the swift parrot is my fauna and I'm very passionate about it, our koalas are just such an iconic animal that we really need international pressure to get behind and rally for, so that our government starts to listen.
You are now a part of the Miss Earth Australia organization. What do you think is the most significant project that the organization have done that has truly made an impact with the environment in your country?
Well, we've done a lot of tree plantings, and we've done a lot of litter pickups. I think the fact that it just exists in Australia is quite significant, because every candidate that we get is fighting for, global sustainability in their own community sectors. And as I mentioned before, pageants aren't very big there, and we're very sports. We like AFL, we like rugby, and so being able to have a platform for people in Australia to, young girls and, females everywhere to get on a stage and speak about something that they're passionate about, because a lot of Australians are very passionate about our environment and we do care and love for it. So to give them a platform and a stage to amplify their voices is such a great initiative already.
All right, let me ask Sheridan a question. I just want to break the tears of
Sheridan, I'm RJ Ignacio, and nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
I only have one question, and I just want to get your point of view. More than 2.29 billion cows, calves, buffaloes, pigs, and goats are killed each year for their skins globally. Other animals such as deer, zebras, seals, sheep, alligators, snakes, sharks, cats, and dogs are brutally slaughtered to produce leather. My question is, as Miss Earth 2022, yes, we claim it, is it time to give up leather? Why or why not?
Thank you, and thank you for the preemptive win there. Leather and meat goods are such a complicated issue. It can seem very black and white. Just stop eating meat, stop using leather goods. But sometimes it's got cultural significance and cultural meaning. So while yes, I do believe that we should stop leather production for purely superficial reasons, I think that there should be some leeway granted to cultures where that's very much ingrained into what they do and how they've always done things, because they're not harming the billions and billions of animals that are happening. It would be much, much smaller. Things aren't black and white, there's always shades of grey. And so the problem here is the overconsumption. So if we need to dial back and look at what's important and figure out why exactly we're consuming these products or eating these goods, and reevaluate from there.
Ang galing naman, ang galing.
Thank you.
I'm here. The questions from the Philippine media are so serious. So, is Sheridan single or taken?
Ferdy, are you interested?
I am taken. Sorry.
Yeah, but how do you find Filipino men? You've been around here.
Beautiful men everywhere. Yeah. I believe everywhere you go there's always beauty, but what I love the most about the Philippines is the friendly nature of you all. Everywhere I go, it's smiles and love. It's
question is just to break the ice.
Thank you.
You're
I know,
so
so serious. I'm like, I feel like I'm already in my political beginning. It's like, okay, serious.
Next question is from the Crown Philippines, Christian Vicky.
Hey, Sheridan.
No serious question ah.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna go back to the serious question.
That's so good.
So aside from your project, ACE project, what is one eco best practice that you'd like to be mirrored to other countries and that you're going to promote as well when you win this?
Thank you very much for that question. So one of the biggest things I believe is the discontinued use of unnecessary single-use plastics. Now I say unnecessary because hospitals and medical practitioners should still be able to use them for health and sanitary reasons, but I'm talking about the unnecessary plastic that you get with maybe your knife and fork, or when you're going out to dinner or ordering takeaway. We can cut back on that or use sustainable alternatives. I know in some countries they're already reincorporating banana leaf to wrap things, you know, at the grocery store. We don't need plastic wrapped capsicums or plastic wrapped bananas. The bananas come in their own casing. So that is what I would hope would spread out. I know Australia's already started doing that, which is fantastic, and hopefully it will continue to the rest of the world.
Hi Taylor Swift.
Hi.
I'm gonna ask not so serious question, but still relevant. Yeah, make that controversial. Because as we all know, Miss Earth has been going virtual for the past 3 years already. And for most of the pageant fans around the world, it kind of diminishes the value of the pageant, knowing that everything is being done virtual. Now that this edition is resuming the traditional format, how could you encourage pageant fans, not just in the Philippines but around the world, to rally their support behind this international pageant?
Thank you very much, Adam. Well, Miss Earth, I believe, I might be biased because I'm competing in it, is the most relevant pageant at the moment. There's so many issues in the world at the moment, but if our environment and if our Earth continues to degrade at the rate it is, then it'll all be for naught. So what we have to do is we have to make sure our foundations are strong with the Earth before we can, do everything else. And so with Earth, with it being on Zoom, I understand that it's not as interesting or entertaining.
Yes.
I must say I quite enjoyed this hybrid one though, because it meant that we didn't have to bring over our big national costumes and things like that, which saves on airfare, which is great for the environment. So I hope that they continue that next year as well. But I think to try and get people, to rally support for Miss Earth is, it's a big pageant. It's one of the top 4 pageants, and it being on Zoom, it doesn't take away from the message. The Miss Earth pageants has always been about the message and the advocacies and what we're bringing to the table in terms of change. And so I hope people will continue to see that and they recognise the importance of this pageant, even if it is on Zoom. But now we're back in person, I'm hoping that, again, caring and connecting with the people and with the environment that you're in does matter. And I'm hoping that having it back in person this year, people will care and connect again.
Thank you.
I have a follow-up question in relation to that. So we know that the tagline for Miss Earth is beauty for a cause. What can you say about that slogan?
Ooh. I love beauty for a cause. I think it's a great slogan because, a friend of mine told me that with beauty, you grab their attention with the beauty. They're like, oh, what's that? A beautiful flower, a beautiful food, whatever your favorite food is, a beautiful person. And then what you do with that, you tune them in and then you make them listen to what you have to say. There's a cause. It's like a painting or something in a gallery, if you're looking at it and then there's a message behind it, it will hit you more because you're already cared and connected with it. So I think Beauty for Cause is a great slogan because it makes people listen. It tunes people into something they might not have otherwise done.
Sheridan, question again here. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. Tristan from TPP, the Philippine Pageantry. Connected to what Adam has asked, First is, there are too many noises or voices
not just in Miss Earth, but also for other international pageants. Does Miss Earth need to join the noise to be noticed, Adam? Or the message doesn't have to be loud, because regardless of the timing, it is still very relevant.
Look, I don't think that it will be bad for Miss Earth at all to be louder and to speak up more, but also I think that the candidates can be louder and speak up more, because Miss Earth and any pageant really is just a platform at the end of the day, and it's what you do with that platform that will have significant impact. You know, that's why we might remember some beauty queen winners more than others, because those are the ones that really did something and they took that platform and they ran with it and they made it their own nearly. And so I think that what we need is that we need the next winner of Miss Earth to take that platform, run with it, and shout it out to the world, so that next year the world is listening.
And as a suggestion, when somebody asked you about the slogan earlier, I suggest that this is just an idea. It's face the problem. That's a good slogan, because F is for Fauna, then your action, care, and education. Face the problem. Thank you. Siyempre, TPP yan.
All right, thank you.
Plus 500. Charing lang.
Yeah.
And last question is for this afternoon is from Pageantology 101.
Hi, Sheridan. My question, I'm Edge from Pageantology 101. So my question was asked during Miss Earth 2010. So what is more important, sunrise or sunset?
I personally love the sunrise, because sometimes at the end of the day, maybe it hasn't been the best day. Maybe you've been sluggish, you haven't done as much as you wanted to. Maybe it's just been a really bad day. But you know, in the morning, there's a sunrise, and sunrise is new beginnings. And I think that this is definitely what we are trying to do here with Miss Earth. We're trying to turn over a new leaf, start new beginnings, and start acting in a more sustainable way, so that our Mother Earth and our nature, our planet, can be saved.
All right, thank you very much for the amazing question.
Sana may panalo mo siya, ha?
We will do our best.
Everybody for coming. It means the world, running the Earth, to me, that you're all here. You know, I come all the way from Australia and to fight for my country and to fight for the environment. And so my main message for everybody here today is that together, let's ace environmental conservation.
All right, yes. Thank you so much, Sheridan, and thank you, members.
Wait lang, solo lang.
Sheridan here. Sherry. Look here, Sherry.
Oh!